Hello and welcome back to Talking Teens Official. I'm Narelle and thank you for joining me and for your listening ears. Today we're pulling back the curtain on a situation every parent has encountered, the substitute teacher. You get that note home or email home that your kid's regular teacher is going to be away, and a whole host of questions and worries can pop up. This episode is about what really happens during that time from every possible angle. But before we go further, it's important to touch on why a teacher's absence can be so unsettling for students. There's a camp out there that sometimes argues that schools are just indoctrinating students and creating robots. But the truth is, children and teens thrive on routine. We, as in teachers and schools, establish routines in the classroom because it alleviates anxiety and worry. When students know what to expect, how a lesson will run, what the expectations are, how their teacher will react, they don't have to waste any mental energy worrying about it at all. All the mystery is taken away. We are open and clear with what is expected. So, at its core, this episode is about what happens when that vital, anxiety-reducing routine is broken by a teacher's absence. But again, before I go any further, I would just like to say that teachers are people too. Teachers can be away for a multitude of reasons, none of which we are obligated to tell our classes about, although many do in the name of transparency. Teachers can have older parents who are aging, younger children, or even siblings who need assistance or carers. Teachers can themselves become unwell and sick, and teachers can take mental health days too. Many teachers who are dealing with issues outside of the classroom do not let on to their students. The game face comes on, and we continue as planned, even if we struggle. This culture is another issue and another episode altogether. So let's get back to the topic at hand and the title of this episode, the substitute teacher effect. These are the CRTs, or casual relief teachers, or subs, as the kids call them. The impact really depends on the length of the absence a teacher is away. If a teacher is away for just a few days, the issues substitute teachers face is that the kids can think that because their normal teacher is away, they don't have to behave in the same way. They don't have to do all or as much of the work, and sometimes, to be honest, they can behave a bit differently. It becomes a bit of a novelty, but it's a manageable disruption. This is a problem that their normal teacher has to deal with when they return. But full disclosure, the expectations that are set, that if your normal teacher is away, you've got to do the work, bud. We do not have time in the curriculum to teach it twice because students decided not to do the work. So what happens when a few days, though, turns into a few weeks or even a whole term or even a half a year? The dynamic shifts dramatically. And I can speak from experience here. I have taken long-term breaks. Actually, I'm on one right now. It wasn't anticipated for me at the beginning of the year. My experiences are that the students are often a bit shocked and disappointed, but this is because they are also a bit worried about the unknown when you tell them you're going away for a while. The questions start flying around the classroom. Where are you going, miss? Who's going to be teaching us? Are they good? Will we like them? Do you think they're a good teacher? Where are you going? Is everything all right? Are you coming back? Can you come back, please? I want you to teach me next year. These are some of the questions teachers face in the classroom when we say we're going away. The sense of stability is gone, and for teenagers, that can be a really unsettling feeling. And to be honest, it's a little bit heartwarming for the teacher who is taking a break. So when you hear teachers say, I love teaching, I love being in the classroom with the kids, it's everything else I hate, that is why. So the students are worried, and that routine is broken. Then the new long-term substitute teacher arrives. For the teacher coming in to cover that class, it's not just like starting a new year. It's like being an archaeologist stepping onto a dig site for the first time. The classroom is a complex ecosystem with months' worth of history buried just beneath the surface. There are inside jokes that they don't get, unspoken social rules that they don't know, and established relationships between students that you have to decode. These subs are trying to read the hieroglyphics on the wall while 25 people are watching them, waiting to see if they get it right. They're a guest in a house that's not theirs, trying to make it feel like home. And that is an incredibly difficult and vulnerable position for them to be in. And it can be really disheartening. For a teacher who's only in for a day or two, they can usually shake it off. They develop thick skin. But it's a completely different story for the teacher covering a long-term absence. When you're putting in all the effort to plan lessons and build relationships, and you're still met with that consistent resistance or lack of engagement, your morale can really drop. It's a heavy weight to carry when you're trying to win over a class that isn't ready to be won because their mind is back on what the other teacher was doing. So while all this is happening in the classroom, what are the parents seeing from home? Well, this can be a bit tricky. Most are supportive because the primary concern is always the well-being and the education of their child. Parents also want that routine for their child because they see and hear the frustrations at home. But this is also a throwback to my us versus them episode because sometimes kids can go home saying things and parents can decide to send that 11 p.m. email. Without clear communication, it's easy for an us versus them mentality to build. And this also brings us to the final perspective. It's too easy to get frustrated with the school. So now I'm going to talk about the immense pressure they are under. There is a significant ongoing teacher shortage crisis in Victorian government schools, or just in Victorian schools in general. To give this some real-world context, data from the Department of Education reported in July of this year, 2025, confirms that there were over 1,100 vacancies within Victorian schools on any given day. And these are the advertised positions. These are not the teachers calling in sick. These are the roles that need to be filled. These are the roles that need a teacher in front of a classroom. So when a teacher goes on long-term leave, the administration is faced with a monumental task. When these positions can't be filled, you can see classes being combined, or in the most severe cases at the VCE level, some specialised subjects are simply not able to be run because they don't have a suitably qualified staff member to teach it. If you think specialist maths or technology or drama classes, if they're not running, one, it's because the numbers aren't there for the classes, or two, they don't have anyone to teach it. The school is often trying to solve an impossible puzzle with a limited number of pieces, all while trying to keep the wheels spinning on a daily basis, whilst planning for the next school year. The management needs to be on point. So, what can you do as a parent in all of this? Well, we need you to encourage your kids to be two things: understanding and empathetic, and more importantly, independent learners. In these moments of disruption, it's really tempting for us as parents to become a type of cleaner. We see the mess, we see the frustration, the poor grades, and we want to rush in with a bucket and mop and clean it all up for them. We send that angry email, we do the extra research, and we solve the problem. But our job isn't to be their cleaner. Our job is to be their coach. A coach doesn't run onto the field and play the game for the player. They stay on the sidelines, they offer strategy, and help the player analyse the game so they can go back in and play it better themselves. Independent learning. So when things get messy with a substitute teacher, resist the urge to be a cleaner. Be their coach. Remind them that while a teacher is a guide, the student is ultimately in the driver's seat of their own education. The whole situation makes me think about Sir Ken Robinson and his ideas on the culture of education. While routine is important, he often challenged rigid, factory-like structures. And a teacher's absent, whilst it can be disruptive, it can also be unplanned. It is also a real-world lesson in adaptability. It's a test of a student's ability to learn from a different personality and find their own footing while the stable anchor is gone. The exact kind of flexible thinking that Sir Ken Robinson argued is essential for their future. The substitute teacher effect is far more complex than just having a different face at the front of the room. It's a ripple effect of disruption that touches everyone. Our kids who thrive on routine, the substitute teachers who face the immense challenge of stepping into a pre-existing ecosystem, and us as parents who are trying to navigate the uncertainty from home. But understanding this complexity, from a systematic teacher shortage to the emotional toll on everyone involved, is the first step. The biggest takeaway is that these moments of disruption are also opportunities. Opportunities to teach our kids empathy and understanding for the new teacher, and most importantly, to foster the resilience and independence they need to take charge of their own learning, no matter who is at the whiteboard. Next time on Talking Teens, we're doing something a little bit different. We're opening a door that is usually closed, and I'm talking about the staff room door. What do teachers really talk about when the students are gone? What are the worries? What are the frustrations? And the hopes they share with each other behind closed doors? Join me for a candid, anonymised look at what educators are actually concerned about. And I promise, it's probably not what you think. If you enjoyed this episode and want to continue the conversation, please follow and subscribe on all social media channels. And if you find real value in what I'm doing here, consider buying me a coffee. I'll put a QR code in the comments and in the show notes, and you can donate any amount you choose. And every little bit helps fuel my late night coffee supply while I'm editing these episodes for you. One final thing, don't forget to join my school community. We're having some great conversations in there, so come on in and take a look. Until then, remember that focus, connection over correction. Thank you for listening. I'm Narelle, and this is Talking Teens Official.